There's more! I'm back! CGI shit!
I rest my case.
It was fucking horrible!
You all know me. You know how I make a living. This isn't gonna be like the last time. This ain't like capturing Mothras and Kongs. This Godzilla will swallow you whole. Shaking, tenderizing, flirtations, then you go. $10 movie ticket for me by myself. Let you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing. Okay, I'm just not gonna do that the whole time. But yes, I finally caught and catch this Kujira, a whale per se, but we'll get to that in a sec. So, hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here. Welcome to the return of opening nights. It has been a very long time since I've done one of these. It's funny because the last movie I saw in cinemas was actually The Meg, and I walked out like 10 minutes in. I said, fuck this movie, it sucks. But, I didn't bother reviewing it, but, and there goes Godzilla. But instead, I waited a couple months to see basically the sequel to Oppenheimer. That, of course, being the latest Toho Godzilla film, the latest Godzilla movie, which we are getting completely spoiled with the Monarch show, and then Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire in March. That, of course, being Godzilla -1, and... Okay, so, I'll just get to the chase here. I'll just put Godzilla there out of frame, but for those who don't know, I am a fan of Godzilla. I've been a fan since I was a little kid. You know, I watched everything, including satires like Reptar and shit. I'm more Team Kong, but I am a Team Godzilla fan. I've loved all the films. If you guys want to see my top 10 favorites in the franchise before -1, go check out my top 10 goddamn Godzilla movies that I did last Halloween. This is the latest film. I don't know how many movies we're at now, like 35, 37, if you count the anime trilogy that sucked. But this is the latest of the Reiwa era as we're in currently. And this is a new take on the material, and is directed by the guy who I think did this Godzilla short film in Always 2, which is a very phenomenal scene. But this is not a sequel to Shin Godzilla. This is a brand new story. Like, that's what I like about Toho. What they're doing is they're doing different stories with the characters. So, where does Godzilla -1 rank in my books? Everybody's talking about, you know, this is a critical, like, praised film. Like, it's weird. I have not seen a Godzilla film get this much praise and this much box office returns. Like, apparently over this weekend, it was the highest grossing film of the weekend, 11 million. It beat out Wish. It's beat out Hunger Games. It's beat out all the competition. And it's shocking how many people have praised it, how many people say this is the best of the series. People say, like, I'm starting to hear people say, this is an Academy Award-winning film up for Best Foreign Language Film. And I'm like, I mean, I've been excited for -1, but really? Academy Award? Holy shit. Okay, now I'm really curious. So, I know I'm kind of late to the party. I'm catching sort of the last screenings before it apparently leaves theaters. It was only here for a week. Really sucks. I mean, the way it's doing right now, I think Toho should extend the release, because I think a lot of people do want to see this movie now. And I'm no stranger, because, short version is, yeah, this movie's amazing. This is a pretty damn good Godzilla movie. I mean, this actually beats the last few films. The last 10 years we've been getting of films. I mean, this is everything I wanted from 2014. This is everything. Actually, it does a little better than Shin Godzilla to a slight degree. A lot of people are debating that right now. Which one is better, Shin Godzilla or -1? I'm somewhere kind of in the middle. I think I need to let this film, because I just got out of it in IMAX, by the way, which you see this in IMAX. The music, the sound, the cinematography, it makes Godzilla big, and you're just like, oh shit. But yeah, it's sort of, I have to let it sit to decide if I like it more than Shin Godzilla, or if it's in the middle, or if it's less, I don't know. But what's the story of this Godzilla film? This is another remake of the original story, but instead of taking place in 1954, which we're used to being sort of the start date, this takes place 10 years prior, like literally after the bomb drops, after the Hiroshima Nagasaki, after Japan surrenders, which is funny because Oppenheimer kind of acts as like a 3-hour prologue. So you can literally watch Oppenheimer and then watch this epilogue to the consequences of creating those bombs. But basically it takes place right after the Japanese have surrendered, and we focus on a kamikaze pilot who is dealing with not just PTSD, but survivor's guilt. So it's a very human emotional film, which, I mean, most of the time human characters, we don't give a fuck about them, but I'm going to say this is the first time since, I'd say, the original Godzilla, that I actually care about these human characters. Like, they've done Bluth it, where they set up a family, all adoptive, one's like a woman, one's a man, and there's a little baby, and they just decide to form a family together, and it's really great, human spirit stuff. Very emotional film. But of course, what's to be salt to the wounds of Japan other than Godzilla, who starts off as this legendary sea monster that obviously after the bombs is mutated through nuclear radiation and attacks Odo Island. It was cool to see Odo Island again. And then chases down fisher boats, destroys Japan, I think Ginza, is the name of the town. No Tokyo, which is totally okay. Even Godzilla raids again, he attacked other parts of Japan, like Osaka. It wasn't just Tokyo, it's a different town. And he causes trouble, so obviously, unfortunately in this case, it's weird because this taking place post-World War II, kind of right dab at the very start of the Cold War, you'd think, how cool would it have been if Godzilla fought Soviet airships in this movie? At least something. But no, apparently Japan is on its own. Like, literally on its own. They cannot ask for the US or the Russians to help because they're in the middle of a Cold War. They think with Godzilla that would cause worse problems. On top of that, the Japanese government isn't even telling the public because they know that's going to start chaos. So it's really up to a group of civilized, like, civilians, and this guy, the kamikaze pilot, and all these resources that are kind of either against the war or for the war, kind of coming together, and helping fight Godzilla. And that's really just the story. It is basically a remake of the original. Does a couple of different things, like there's no Dr. Serizawa, there's no Oxygen Destroyer. It does something different. And I do like that this is what Japan is doing, what Toho is doing. They're doing different things with the monster. That's basically doing an anthology series with Godzilla, not just a continuity-driven series. It gives different filmmakers different things to do with the series. And I think that's the way a lot of franchises should honestly go now. Like, forget continuity to a degree, but just do anthology stories. Like, just do different stories with these characters. I think the audience can be okay with that. We don't need sequels. I think the age of the sequels and the age of serials and the age of, that is kind of over. Like, we can still do remakes, but still, like, do something different, which I like. I mean, hey, if Godzilla could get this many different adaptations, where's King Kong? Why does he have to just stick with the MonsterVerse? The fucker's almost at public domain. So, to the point, because goddamn, I want Legend of King Kong and Kong 96 finally adapted, but to the point, this is a good movie. This is a damn good Godzilla movie. Like, a goddamn good Godzilla movie. This should be in my top 10. I don't know what film I would have to sacrifice. It's gonna probably have to be Godzilla Tokyo SOS, which I do love, but that film is kind of like I like it for the best effects, but I don't know, -1's getting up there. But that's all fine and dandy, and there's just so much more to talk about. Like, first of all, I did not know this. The budget. This movie was $15 million. Are you kidding me? US. Just to exchange the currency. Just in comparison, Godzilla x Kong is estimated at about $200 million. Why do the effects in that movie, despite me loving that trailer, look like total shit comparison to this? $15 million. This is like the Terminator. like, low budget, but looks great. What is going on? Okay, special effects people who sometimes reach out to me in my chat, what the hell is going on with all these effects companies? Why are some effects companies with less money doing better than your companies? That just makes no goddamn sense. But I guess it comes to the fact that they use Godzilla sparingly and where it's appropriate and use the shots to a very well-crafted way. What do I mean by that? Well, it's very much, the movie is very much not just a remake of the original story, but it takes a lot of elements from good movies like Spielberg. There's a lot of Spielberg in this movie, not just the family dynamic, which Spielberg has kind of lacked lately, but also huge love letters to the likes of Jurassic Park and Jaws especially. JT and I had talked about this, that this is very much a love letter to Jaws, because way more than 2014, because 2014 people compare that to Jaws because, you know, Brody and waiting for the monster to show up halfway through and teasing it. But this is where, again, 2014 failed. Because one thing I noticed that's definitely Jaws related is the fish that come up. When you hear the bubbles and you hear the fish coming up, that means you know Godzilla's approaching. What happens in Jaws? The barrels. Every time the barrels come up, you knew the shark was there. So there's a lot of that, even with like the group on the boat. It's very much like Jaws, where they're trying to like shoot it with dynamite. You know, you'll kind of expect the gunner to be like, "Smile, you son of a bitch," or you know, like even then, like just all this shit's going on. It's crazy. So you know, and there's even like I keep expecting like Hooper and Brody to like be taking photos of Godzilla. It's like, I need something in the foreground to give it some scale. Foreground my ass. But then even the first appearance of Godzilla is very much like the T-Rex attack in Jurassic Park. That bit, like, where it's kind of sneaking around, you try to hide behind it. And while we're on the subject, let me talk about Godzilla. Every movie, they try to make him bigger and bigger and bigger. And like we've always learned, even since we were a kid, bigger isn't always better. So, how do you make Godzilla better than he was before? Well, if you can't make him bigger, make him meaner. Holy shit, I think, like, this is tied with Shin as the scariest because, Godzilla is, like, the best way I could describe this movie, Godzilla's pissed off. He is a mean, angry, aggressive, violent motherfucker. Like, he is like Biggie Smalls if he was Godzilla. He is pissed. And it's kind of questioning where he came from, what his trajectory is. Was he created from nuclear radiation? Which is kind of true because, you know, they tried to attack him and he rejuvenates. Or is it more so in the vein of, like, being awakened? Like, he's been asleep and the bombs came down and he's like Biggie Smalls saying, "What the fuck? That's it, I'm pissed!" Like, who woke me up? He's mean. He's angry. He's pissed. He's a bully. He's eating people! I have never seen Godzilla this angry, this aggressive, this vicious, and it's amazing. Like, oh, I had a ball with this one. And what got me? His eyes. He just always looks pissed off. He is looking like, these are the pupils of, I'm gonna kill you. He is mad. Mad! And it's like, and literally, the term Gojira comes from gorilla and whale, whale meaning Kujira. And in this one, he's a pissed off whale half the time. He is like, it's like Moby Dick, the white whale. Like, it's Captain Ahab and Moby Dick. This motherfucker is just killing people. He doesn't give a fuck. He's just doing it because he's mad at something. And it's glorious. So, a lot of the whale aspects, which I thought was kind of cool. It was like a big fishing adventure. You're trying to capture this giant whale. So I thought that was kind of cool that they added the whale attributes to Godzilla this time around. But not just him as a vicious predator, not just him, literally like the T-Rex in the first Jurassic Park. Like, I think the eyes are what got me, because, you know, I looked at the T-Rex in the first Jurassic, his eyes, I'm just like, god damn, that thing's scary. They pulled it over here. This is almost, I'll say this with the design, it is very much like a mix of the Heisei Godzilla mixed with the Stan Winston design. And it shows that Stan Winston design should have been used. Like, it should still be used, but this is a nice balance. Because, goddamn, this Godzilla's scary. He, you know, like, there are moments where there's like, I want to see this family live. I want to see these characters live. And when you think when you feel there's a death, you're like, God damn, Godzilla, you're an asshole. Now I'm actually kind of rooting. This is the first time, because normally with Godzilla movies, you root for Godzilla to just smash shit. But now here, you're rooting for the people to win. You're rooting for them to come in and save the day. There were times when, like, the military would come in and shoot Godzilla, and I was just like, yeah, get him! Get that son of a bitch! Like, even when the plane at the end is like, you know, I'm looking at this pilot, I'm like, yeah, you get that son of a bitch! Godzilla's a problem! And I love that. This is exactly what I wanted. You know, I love Godzilla being a hero and fighting other monsters, but I just love this one, where he's aggressive, where he's mean, and he doesn't give a fuck. He's pissed off. It's glorious. And with the IMAX screening, first of all, also, his atomic breath is a nuclear bomb. It's like literally an atomic bomb. Holy shit. Like, down to the black rain. They got the black rain down, which just shit. Never seen that before. I will say, like, the devastation in terms of just how many people he killed is kind of brushed off. I think there should have been more of that just to show the gore and the brutality of the aftermath was a little needed, but that's okay. But with that, his roar in IMAX is phenomenal. The sound is incredible. I mean, outside of Best Foreign Language Film, this should get a Best Sound Design, because I had fun with this one. Although it's probably going to beat Oppenheimer. Or Oppenheimer will beat it. But then on top of that, the music choices were pretty good. There's some new themes that I really liked in this. Really dramatic, really emotional. Like, I'll say this, too, with the human characters, is that the acting is phenomenal for Japanese actors. Like, the little girl they got, really sweet. I bought her genuine emotions. Like, she was a sweet little girl, saying this guy, like, calling her daddy. I'm like, that's so sweet. But then on top of that, our main hero, the kamikaze pilot, really nice, real kind of rendition and talking about the story about a guy who not only has to suffer post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, but also survivor's guilt. And there's a moment in this movie, I'm not kidding, where he has a total mental breakdown from PTSD and survivor's guilt. And I felt that. I felt that immensely. Like, I almost cried, because it's like, they nailed it. They nailed that down so well, and I've never seen that before in a Japanese film. So kudos to the actor and kudos to the writers and directors on that. That was actually one of my favorite scenes in the movie, because it's just so well acted. But with the sound, Godzilla's roar is like huge. Like, there's parts where his first appearance actually kind of scared the shit out of me. Like, shit! Like, I was not expecting him that soon. But then on top of that, the music choices. So the music choices is what I was getting to. Great new rendition of the classic theme by Akira Ifukube. Really good. And one of the things I loved is not just the march, not just the booming approach theme, but you know what? Kudos to the filmmakers that they brought back the theme from King Kong vs. Godzilla. That was nice. I liked hearing that in the theater. In fact, when the theme started, you know, the Godzilla theme was like, I was kind of dancing to it. I was doing the violin. But then when the King Kong Godzilla theme started, it's like, was anybody else, when they saw it, kind of humming the chant? Or, like, kind of whispering the chant where they're like, like, was anybody else doing that in the theater who recognizes those cues? Let me know in the comments if you were doing that, because I couldn't have been the only one. I had a big grin on my face hearing that, because that was awesome. And now here's the weird part. I know Godzilla X Kong is coming out, but is it weird I kind of want a sequel to this, but see Toho take another crack at King Kong vs. Godzilla? I mean, Hollywood's one thing, but I want to see Toho take a crack at it again and make it a serious take. Like, do a King Kong vs. Godzilla that continues the story, which I'll get to the ending in a sec. But to the point, it's funny because I like that Toho is going the more serious route with the Heisei / Millennium Era / original film kind of in tone, while you're looking at Legendary in Hollywood, which you think would finally be able to do it right, and they're going the Showa route. They're going crazy. They're going cartoony, and it's like, I love that we got both now. We're getting, like, both the Showa and the Heisei era at one time. Like, at this point, Legendary, can I get Jet Jaguar, please? I know the rights are expensive. I know getting those characters are costly, but you know what? Give me Jet Jaguar at this point. I just want to hear the theme, please. But to the point, back to -1. The ending. I did like how they took down Godzilla. It was a real human spirit, emotional moment, and it was really cool. I mean, nowadays, if they did it today, I'd be like, oh my god, these terrorists are trying to stop this poor creature. But, like, again, it just makes me kind of hate the internet a little bit and phones in general, that the human spirit is there to work together to defeat this creature, and with the pilot and everything is great. I won't say one of the endings for certain part of the storyline, because I think it actually did kind of surprise me, and it did leave me a little emotional. But I will say, like, the last scene, that, okay, spoilers, Godzilla's alive. You know, they took him down. Like, they literally took half his head off. He looks like Britney Spears in that South Park episode, just, you know, no head, just like, like, it was kind of freaky looking. I love that. But he starts to rejuvenate, obviously. It was very much a nod to Jaws when the shark goes down, but it started to rejuvenate, and the theme played. Now, I don't know if that was meant to set up a sequel, or are they just paying homage to the ending of, say, the Heisei era? I want to say the ending of the Heisei era. I don't know if we're ever going to get a sequel to this movie, but given its reception and box office returns, we probably will. Again, I'm sorry if I'm putting my hair back. I was just making sure my hair is not spiked up in this review. But, it sets up sort of this thing that maybe Godzilla will be back stronger and more aggressive than ever, which is kind of freaky. I kind of love that. However, I will say this too, that, again, it's why if they do a sequel, I would jump right to King Kong versus Godzilla and give a serious take on that, because I think it's probably because of the music, but something makes me feel like I want to see that with this, like, this aggressive Godzilla fighting aggressive Kong, and then we can make comparisons between Legendary and Toho, who does it better. I mean, at this point, Kong is going to be in the public domain soon, so it wouldn't surprise me if Toho decides to take advantage of that. But then on top of that, if you're not going to do that, you know, maybe bring in Mothra, maybe bring in Rodan, actually. Rodan would be kind of cool. I mean, we haven't really had a Godzilla versus Rodan movie. How odd is that? Like, I know they first fought in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, but never in a versus movie. I find it kind of weird. He's always with other monsters. But to the point, I want to see some more of this idea. Like, either they do anthology stories, or they do a continuation of this, an experiment. You know, like, this is really cool. So, yeah, overall, love the movie. Very well done. I will admit the trailers we got were kind of shit. I think the only one I remember was, oh, was it, God, I can't remember. All I remember was a shitty Jason Statham movie that looked really bad. I think it was like, but there was one, like, The Beekeeper, I think it was called. I can't remember. But then there was a Henry Cavill movie that's like a spy movie. It's like, okay, you're doing James Bond, you just can't do the rights. There was a lot of weird trailers we got with our Godzilla -1. I'm surprised they didn't play Godzilla X Kong on there now that it's out. That would have been cool. But, yeah, anyway, Godzilla -1. The short version is, the first time seeing it, I fucking loved it. There's a lot of people I saw in there who actually came out saying I'd never seen one of those, and they said now they're a fan. In fact, a lot of friends I know who have seen this movie have now said they're a fan. So, hey, come with us to G-Fest. I'm going to try to come back next year for the 70th anniversary and bring the crew. But, overall, I had a blast. This was the first time I've seen a Japanese Godzilla movie since Godzilla 2000, which is, God, 20 years ago. But this was really good. I actually want to see more of these in theaters, like just new Godzilla movies, and really get a better appreciation for them. Like, because I love Godzilla, but like, I get more attention with it in films. I'm able to appreciate them a lot more, but this was a damn good ride. This was a fun time. If it's still in theaters where you're at, just go see it, and support films like this. Support a Godzilla movie like this, because if it's getting this much critical reception that's Oscar-worthy, then that's saying something. So, this could be like a better way to go about things. So, let me know. Well, first I should say, -1 is definitely a, I mean, I can't give it this rating, but it is about a 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10. I had a really good time. This is one of the best films of the series by far. But it's really good. I would recommend it. Go check it out. IMAX, whatever you can, the biggest screen imaginable, because seeing Godzilla towering in some shots above you, you're like, oh shit, he's gonna squish me. And even as, I'll just say this, the build-up theme where it's like, bum, 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 when it goes to the bum, 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 it goes higher and higher, where it's like, bum, 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 bum. I have never seen it that high, and I'm just like, shit. So kudos to the composer, but yeah, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, go check it out. And, yeah, that's really about it, guys. Let me know your thoughts on Godzilla -1 in the comments below. Don't forget to support our Patreon. Just $1 more will get you early access to all of our content as well as other special features. We are going to try to promote it more and more because we're going to start posting more on there, but we're still going to get back to YouTube because it's really good to it feels good. I think Godzilla came at the right time when I really needed to come back to YouTube, so it feels good. It feels good to be a Godzilla fan again and enjoy the monster movies when they're coming out. As for other stuff coming out, like, say, more Kong content, I'm working on the 8th season. I've got some really cool episodes coming out. There's going to be a trailer soon. But then on top of that, when it comes to, like, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, I don't have an Apple streaming service, so I have to find a way to watch it another way, but I do want to watch it just for curiosity, because I did watch Skull Island, and I had fun with that. But, I don't know, there might be more stuff down in the future, but again, let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments, because this was really good. So, until the next video, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off, and, yep, this is one of the best Godzilla movies of all time. Definitely check this one out. And until the next time, I'll see you later. Take it easy.